Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., all rights reserved.
We're back at 17 till. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. I'm Jim Blasingame. Please check out my website, smallbusinessadvocate.com. Lots of stuff there that will help you with your small business. You can read, you can listen, you can ask questions, you can watch. That's right. You like to watch? We have video on our website, too. Every week we have a different video. And, of course, my newsletter's there. Please subscribe to that. Check out the poll question. We ask a different question every week. Having a great visit with our good friend Kirk Cheyfitz, one of the smartest guys I know. Kirk's the founder and CEO of Story Worldwide, an organization I watched him build from almost nothing and into an international organization. He's a great entrepreneurial story. Kirk, thanks again for hanging out with us. In 1998, when I started the first full year doing my show, I started telling small business owners there are three things in the 21st century you're going to have to get good at: leveraging technology, networking, and building strategic alliances. And two of the in those days, the last two were all about really meant they were all about collaboration. Collaboration was at the heart of both of those last two. In the 21st century, the first one, leveraging technology, has become part of collaboration, hasn't it?
Absolutely. And in fact, leveraging technology, I think, is for small businesses can be primarily about collaborating, actually for big businesses too. And the notion, the most important notion here is collaborating with your customers to create for them the very best set of services and products that you can, and something as close to exactly what they want. And
that's a new notion for a lot of people, especially small business owners, isn't it? The idea of collaborate. What do you mean? Like I'd be like don't we have this firewall? They buy stuff, I sell them stuff. I mean, this is a new thought for a lot of people, isn't
it? It is, and I think it's one that's only grown up really in the last decade, oddly enough, although people have been listening to their customers and talking to their customers face-to-face forever. And one of the great advantages that small businesses have traditionally had is that we're closer to our customers than big businesses in many ways. But interestingly, I think the tools, the technological tools of collaboration that have largely worked in favor of small business, creating a more level playing field and a bigger playing field for small businesses. This one works in the favor of big businesses because it's a tool that allows them to keep in touch face-to-face, if you will, with their customers in ways that was in the past only available to small business people talking across the counter.
Which is why I've said that social media is custom made for small business. Even though it's going to help big business, they're going to be late to the game because they've got law firm. They got general counsels that are going to get in the way. But small companies, this is a way to level playing field like never before.
It is. I mean, social media and the way in which the Internet works these days, and the Internet has become increasingly a social platform, which is why the term segregating so-called social media from so-called other digital media is I think kind of stupid, because what's happening is the entire Internet's becoming social.
Right.
But those tools need to be leveraged now. They can give you much greater access to customers. But one of the things that small business people need to understand, and big business people, is that those social tools are not just about shooting your mouth off. They are also about listening. One of the most powerful things you can do with social media is just to put your area of concern, whether it's pizza or hardware or what have you, or your own business name, into a Twitter search engine, for example, or search across Facebook, and see what people are saying about what you're doing. Just listening can be the first and most important step in using social media effectively. And listening is a critical tool in collaboration, right? I mean, if you don't listen to people, you cannot collaborate with them at all.
Well, you've given me a thought here. You know that I'm the social media heretic. I'm a heretic is a true believer who doesn't like the status quo. And so I've never liked the term social media for business purposes. And I've always said we should be talking about building customer communities instead of, focusing more, thinking more like building customer communities rather than thinking social media. But you've just given me a thought. What about community collaboration? For business purposes, instead of social media, think of it as community collaboration. How about that?
I really think that's the core idea. The core idea about social media is that it breaks down barriers. It breaks down the barriers between publishers and audience, right? Because now the audience can publish
And when he
back.
says publishers, folks, he's not talking about the folks in New York. He's talking about anybody who has an idea that they put out there.
Exactly. Anyone who publishes a piece of content anywhere in the world
tells
is
a story,
publisher.
Puts forward a piece of expertise, whatever it may be. Now go ahead.
So those barriers are breaking down. The barriers, as you said earlier, between sellers and buyers are breaking down. All of these artificial categories are breaking down. And I had a great set of experiences with it at a one-day conference that my company put on in New York last week.
Kirk, hold on to that thought. Will you tell us about those experiences in the next segment?
Absolutely.
Let's do that. We got to take a quick one. StoryWorldwide.com, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Folks, you need to check that website out. You've never seen a website like this one. It is very, very it's just very cool, and it'll give you some good ideas, too. Never mind the content that's in there. Kirk Cheyfitz is our guest, folks. I'm Jim Blasingame. I'm your host, Tin Tail. We'll be right back.
Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., intended for the private use of our audience. Except as otherwise provided by copyright law, all other copying, redistribution, or publication without prior written consent is prohibited. All rights reserved.